This is Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Welcome to this episode of Forge Daily. I'm your host, Mackenzie Barwell, checking in October 14th, 2024. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're enjoying your long weekend. On Saturday, Forge FC conceding an unfortunate 2-0 loss to Atlético Ottawa in their second-to-last regular season game. So in today's episode, I have a few things to cover, beginning with that result, the trophy lift that happened afterwards, and where the current standings are and how they'll affect playoffs as we approach the last regular season game of the Canadian Premier League. So let's kick things off, beginning with that result on Saturday and Forge's uncharacteristic home performance. Cisse, Taryn Campbell, and Tristan Borges still absent from Forge's lineup. Their starting 11 remaining largely unchanged from their last game against Valor FC, apart from Victor Klanaridis earning his first start up top and Malik Awolabi-Bellewu returning to center back. If you watch this game, you'd know that Forge came out kind of slow in comparison to Atlético Ottawa, who really showed urgency right out the gate. They opened scoring in just the 14th minute when a 5-6 Manny Aparicio rose for a header, marking the first time Forge FC had trailed at home since July 14th. Atlético would get one more before half. In the 33rd minute, this time, Samuel Salter pouncing on a rebound, initially saved by Jazz, but at that point, not much he could do to stop that. I should also mention that halftime was arguably just as action-packed as this game. In honor of our fan appreciation night, we had a bunch of different games going on. I was running around the field. We did a keep-up competition, trivia, so kudos to anybody who participated in that. Looking at the second 45 minutes of this game, unfortunately nothing would change in terms of scoring, but it did get pretty heated at some points. A couple controversial calls led to some pushback amongst the players, and Ali Ajabapur forced to exit after collecting 2 yellow cards. Getting into it with Sam Salter. Later on in the match, Mateo and Kadim entered the game, contributing to Forge FC's U21 minute accumulation. But ultimately, Forge ending the match without a single shot on target and suffering their third loss of the season to Atlético Ottawa. They were the only team to do that to Forge in the 2024 season. Now, as we know, this result won't impact Forge in any way, apart from maybe influencing who they'll play against in the first round of the playoffs. But of course, not the result that they were looking for, especially given they were lifting the regular season trophy afterwards. But Coach Bobby and Alex Ashinyoni-Janssen made some good points in the post-match press conference on 1, the reality of the situation, and 2, the kind of team that Forge is depending on where they're at in the season.
Here's how the story goes. Forge wins today, everything is great. Forge loses, we forget that before the game, probably 40% of the mind of the players is about what's going on after than to what's going to happen in the game. So then these games go a certain way. 0-0, team plays well, you score, Forge scores, team plays better, you go down, exhale. It's not that important to us. And that's how the story goes in these types of games. It's why I'm not a fan of them in general. Doesn't matter which way you look at it, that you have a team that needs this game, more than anything, and you have another team that doesn't. So that's the only thing that I take out of this game. Nothing else that's happened in it.
No, I don't like to think about that kind of stuff, because I got a similar question before the 2021 final where we had played, I think, 11 games against Pacific or something. And the question was, you guys haven't lost. How confident are you going in to this game? And I gave the same answer. I was like, the past is the past. It doesn't affect what happens today. And we went and lost that game as well. So them beating us in the regular season now, I think the offseason is a different thing. And I think that's when we play our best football as well, when we're got our back against the wall a bit. Today was obviously not our best performance. But I think throughout the years, we've proven that when we need to get the job done, we get the job done.
So Forge knew that they'd be lifting the CPL shield regardless of how the game went afterwards in front of a home crowd. And although the outcome of the game was less than ideal, I think that Commissioner Mark Noonan captured it best when he said that the trophy's based on body of work and not just one game. Let's listen into his post-match remarks so you can really feel the excitement. It was a moment worth celebrating. And for those of you on audio, you can see plenty of smiles around from the fans to the players.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another special moment here in Hamilton, Ontario. Winning isn't easy, but I think it's getting contagious around these places. So Without further ado, I'd like to introduce a special man. This is a special night, and the CPL Shield will be awarded. Here's Commissioner of the Canadian Premier League, Mr. Mark Noonan.
Thank you, Christian. Good evening, Hamilton. Bonjour. Happy Thanksgiving to all. First of all, I'd like to thank all the supporters. We can't do this without you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next, I'd like to congratulate the Hamilton Sports Group and their management team. They do an incredible job and set the standard for our league on and off the field. Congratulations, Bob Young, Scott Mitchell, Doug Rye, and the whole team. Of course, the coaching staff, Coach Bobby Smirnotis, and a fantastic, fantastic job. And last but certainly not least, the players, led by an unbelievable captain, Kyle Becker. Congratulations. This is based on a body of work, not a single game. From April through November, these guys have done an incredible, incredible job. Congrats.
After lifting the shield, Coach Bobby spoke on the accomplishment and the certain culture and standard that's been set at Forge over the past 6 years. And Alex also shared what's different about this group in 2024, particularly regarding the team's cohesiveness and how certain players have stepped up while veterans are continuing to perform at a high level.
You look over 6 years and Forge is the decider of who lifts trophies. I think that's pretty simple. Doesn't matter which way you look at it. This year, throughout the season, we've been excellent, consistent, done the business. That's why the league gives us a trophy. And, we prepare, and we know this is a period where you go into things. And, the one thing, if you look at the history of Forge, it's when you need to get things done, they're there. Sometimes when the fire's not on our back, we take it easy. And that's who we are. And that's why sometimes in the season you see us lose points to some of the teams who currently are at the bottom of the table. I think that's who we've been, not just this year, but over 6 years. But if you ask me if, that's who we are this year, that's who we are, and that's who we've been for 6 years, not just this year.
That's tough to put your finger on, because I think there's been minor pieces and guys who have stepped up. I think we've been more, fused together this year than we were, example, last year. We had a lot of talent on the team last year, but we didn't really gel. We had a little bit more issues within the team. This year, I think we're working real well together, and people have stepped up as well. Like Malcolm Duncan has been one of the best right backs in the league this year, and absolutely fantastic. And he was on the team last year and didn't really play that much, right? Because Rama played, but he's also a fantastic player. But a combination of people stepping up like that. Kalongo's done it great. Jas Kolelet has done it great. And then you mix that in with the players we have that's performed over a longer period of time. And Garvin, Bex, Borges, Noah's been amazing for us this year. And then Kwesi taking steps. I think it's a mix of just a whole lot of different players taking steps and putting the right foot forward.
Looking ahead to Victoria this weekend, Forge FC will finish the CPL season playing against Pacific away on Saturday. If Pacific are able to close this one out, they will clinch that fifth and final playoff spot. After losing this past weekend, Halifax have officially been eliminated from playoff contention, so now it's between Vancouver FC, Valor, and Pacific. York United will actually host that midweek 4v5 game for the first time in club history on October 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Now, going back to Forge, I think it's a fair assumption to think that they'll want to regain some momentum as they enter the playoffs with this matchup this weekend. But as Coach Bobby said in the post-match press conference, it's actually not that simple.
Yeah, have you ever traveled to Victoria and taken a flight back and seeing what that does to yourself? Forgetting about the players, to ourselves, something we'll look at during the week because there's different balance that we want to see in what we're doing, and that's what we talked about in these two games. Seeing a certain balance of things with players' minutes, getting players a little bit fresher, getting players back into the lineup, resting some players. There's no direct formula because one can say you've got a few weeks of the playoffs and you need rhythm, then you go in and you're excellent. You could say that, you know what, if you play, keeps you sharp, but then you get into the playoffs and you're tired. It comes down to the mentality of the group. That's the most important thing, the mentality that you have as a club, that you're ready and you're prepared for the games that need 100%, and in 6 years, Ford shows that consistently.
With that, I'll conclude today's episode. More to come with Behind the Beard and Max Access. Thanks so much for coming to our fan appreciation game if you were there. And of course, thanks for listening to today's episode. I'll be back to check in on the audio network ahead of Forge SC's final regular season game against Pacific.
This has been Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.